G'day, Jack. I'm just looking at your second draft, as you can see. Look, it's a massive improvement on your first one, so well done. It's pretty clear that you've really worked on your thesis, so your introductory paragraphs are pretty strong. I'm a bit worried about the depth of evidence you have for 1984. I think you're a bit lean on that, and there's a few things I might want to suggest about Metropolis as well. All right, let's get into it. So, um, the first things first, I know this is going to be turned into a script. So I saw your exemplar and I sort of get what they want from you now, which is good. So these this paragraph here is very good. All right, I like that. But then you've got these two paragraphs here, or mainly this one here. Well, let's deal with this first. You talk about the different resolutions that they have in each text. So and that's the question. The question is how do they resolve it? And what message can you gain, or what conclusion can you drag out of that? And you sort of talk here about Lang's simplistic possibilities of human connection, but you're talking about symbolism here and so forth, which is good. Then you talk about oil, but you don't really give any evidence here. All right, so I think this whole paragraph could be a little bit stronger. I think you could add a little bit more evidence about Lang, and you have almost no evidence here from Orwell. Okay, so I want to just draw your attention to this page here. I'll send you through this quote. So there's a quote from 1984 where Winston says, "If there is hope, it lies in the proles." Now, this is Winston's idea that he realizes that the small rebellions by people like him and Julia are pointless. They're not going to change anything. No one, you can't take on the system from one individual at a time, because you just get squashed, as he and Julia are squashed. They're re-educated, and that's the end of them, really. So the key that he sees, and really it's Orwell saying this, is if there is hope, it lies in the proles. So the whole quote and the whole paragraph, and I'll send this through to you, is here. Right? And what it actually continues on to say is, but the proles, if only they could somehow become conscious of their strength, would have no need to conspire. They need only to rise up and shake themselves off like a horse shaking off flies. If they chose, they could blow the party to pieces tomorrow morning. Right? Surely, sooner or later, it must occur to them to do it. Right, so it's pretty straightforward what Orwell was saying. He's saying, look, all you people over there in the Eastern Bloc, the only answer to your terrible existence is in rising up and taking out your government en masse. So the message by Orwell is that no party can exist, no political government can exist if the entirety of the people stands against it. Okay, it must diminish, and this is why Big Brother and the whole system is so relentless at keeping history a certain way. I mean, Winston's entire job is to change history, to change media, to get rid of evidence that things could possibly be any different to what they're suggesting it is. And then you have this Orwellian doublespeak. These are all examples of the lengths that the party goes to try and keep a lid on the people, right? The proles, the proletariat. Because if they get loose, the party's gone, and the party knows it. Okay, so that's really crucial that you use this evidence from George Orwell. You need to be speaking about Orwellian doublespeak, right, or the notion of doublespeak, and examples of it. You need to explain Winston's job, why he does it, why the party is so obsessed with people like him doing that job. Okay? Because they're scared to death of this huge mass of people rising against them. So Orwell's message is, it's pretty clear, really. And if you go back to your piece, you're talking about it here, but you don't actually have any evidence. And then if I drag you all the way to the bottom, yeah, you're talking about Orwell's Darker World, you have a quote here, all right, and that's it. Oh, sorry, in the end, the party would announce to if you have another quote there. All right, you need more than that, mate. You need specific reference to the fact that yes, Orwell projects this dystopian world, but really what he's saying is, if you want to get rid of this, rise up, and that the party is absolutely scared of you. Just look at my job. Just look at Winston's job and the fact that he spent so much of his time, changing history to provide an alternate reality that hopefully is going to keep these guys in power. All right. So you're not focusing enough on evidence, and I think what you're showing me is you probably don't know 1984 as well as you know. As well as Metropolis. And look, that's normal because Metropolis is a movie and 1984 is a novel, and it's just harder to access sometimes. All right, so just with reference to Lang, I think you need to be talking about the Moloch scene and perhaps the Babel scene. These are key scenes of vision where Lang actually provides a apocalyptic vision, particularly Moloch. Where he's trying to tell people, look, this is where it's going to go. And you mentioned it here. You mentioned the excesses of capitalism and projecting a vision of what the world will be like in this paragraph here. Okay, and you need to actually provide evidence of those visions. So particularly Moloch for Lang, but in terms of 984, you got to talk about those descriptions of Winston's life, that provide us with a sense of what it's really like to live in this dystopia that Orwell has created. Okay, so look, structure's good. You've got an argument. You know what you're doing now. You just got to provide better evidence, and you've got to show better knowledge of the book, particularly, but also some of those key scenes in Metropolis are not really coming through that well, right? Because that is Lang's vision. He's giving us those specific scenes. So Babel and Moloch are probably the two big ones, and I'm sure you've focused on them in class. All right, mate. I hope that helps. I'll send through that paragraph that you can use as a really key quote. It very much highlights Orwell's message in the book. Okay. All right. Thanks, mate. Bye.